Monster collecting. A genre that's certainly waned in the years recently, but still has a fondness in my heart. Unless you count all the gacha games. Yeah, there's like way too many. And that's like only like a small amount. I could find more.
Honestly, you think they would read the room and understand that flooding the market with these sorts of games and series will kind of turn people against these sorts of games, and even calling them killer app games would never work, since has that ever worked like in the history of ever? I mean, you could make some examples, but not many. One of those trying to capture those profits, I mean attention, was spectrobes. Which is odd, since it's one of the few IPs that Disney Interactive ever had a hand in, sort of. Look, it's complicated and I don't want to talk about that at all. And also Jupiter. And they made and when I say this, I mean a metric fuck ton of Picross games. God, I still don't know how to pronounce those right. And that one Kingdom Hearts game, Chain of Memories. I like that game, but it's flawed to say the least.
Honestly, what these guys made before hardly even matters, as we begin our review of Spectrobes.
We begin with some pointless CGI, as it really shows, God, these scenes are really, really pointless, as it really doesn't show anything, like at all. It looks kinda cool, but that's it. The only thing it shows us is our protagonist and other. You might be wondering why I say that. That's mostly only due to because of her not doing anything. Like, I'm pretty sure she does nothing at all in this entire plot. At all. In fact, you could actually say that about a lot of the characters in this game, but I'm getting a little ahead of myself. So on the planet, we find this old guy here who had crash landed on the planet as we find some weird device that's near him. Instead, a tornado comes out of nowhere to attack us. Why a tornado, I'll never understand, but whatever. As we get attacked by monsters, and these other monsters here come out too to help us.
I'll talk about combat in a bit, but trust me, I don't want to.
After a bit, we take the old man back to the ship, and he explains that he's from another star system, and he's here to get the spectrobes, the monsters we use to fight the Crawl, and that's with a K, because poor literacy is cool. But that hardly matters, as his whole star system was destroyed. Yeah. And it's honestly annoying, to say the least, that he never kind of deals with being the last of his people. Or hell, how the heck no one wanted to investigate at all the disappearance of a star system. Because I'm pretty sure they don't disappear. We are then told that the Spectrobes are the only ones that can defeat the Crawl. As I need to ask a very simple question here.
That question being, how the hell did they all die out and become fossils? And if somebody spouts out something from the future games, no, that's not an answer. That's trying to negate the issue at hand without really dealing with the issue. Because if you're going to answer somewhere else, at least give us the understanding that we can't answer it here and now because we just can't. I'm just saying.
The game never explains why this is, as I need to explain that even though the only thing left of them are fossils, they're still alive and can just be awakened from the fossils just like that, somehow. I mean, the game doesn't explain even how this happened. And that's something because, if they just stated that the Spectrobes became fossils somehow, but are still alive and just need the help of this device to get them out of that form, I would have been fine. It's a simple explanation of why it is without really needing to expand on the situation, which sometimes that is important, though it does not explain why no one but you can do it. Yeah, for some strange reason, only you can do this. How the old man did it to begin with, I'll never know, because, that was his device. Though then again, not like this game wants to explain anything, so I'll explain the mechanics a bit. Though awakening is not even something worth to mention, because it could have been automatic and nothing would have been lost, as it only requires you to do some microphone stuff, because that's interesting. But wait, how do you get the fossils? Well, by using the spectrobes, and no, they don't explain how this can be done either. Again, there are simple ways to write this away. Say they had the power to sense one another and, use it to find minerals for sustenance. And their evolved forms have this too, but it's so undetectable that it requires a child form spectrobe to find them. Again, only a few lines can just explain everything away. So yeah, not only do you have to mine for fossils, but also minerals, so you can feed them to make them stronger. There are 3 stats in this game: attack, defense, 8 HP. And let me tell you, those stats are hard as hell to tell which ones are good. Like, at all. Hell, I think I only got so many minerals was because I just wanted them to evolve quickly and get on with it. As spectrobes have 3 forms: a child, adult, and evolved. And evolved being the strongest, so yeah, I was aiming for that quickly. Though, strangely enough, I think it was only the mechanic I liked. Yeah, I'm being serious, the game is that dull. Honestly, mining was the majority of my game footage, and I don't even know why I bothered with that so much. That suppose couldn't handle me at all. To feed the spectrobes the minerals, you need to go back to the ship into the incubator so that you can feed them that and raise their stats. And mind you, there is nothing stopping you from feeding them all the way until their stats reach max. And their max level is level 126 for some reason, and no, I wish I knew why that number too. In fact, I think I only fed mine a few numbers, like only like a few of them minerals, and just forgot the rest because honestly I had no need. Though that would ask the bigger question of why even bother playing when even the combat is lifeless and dull. Like, wow, dull. Okay, I put it off, but I gotta talk about the combat. Ugh. The combat is an action RPG and you can run around, quite literally around your foes, and in fact, many times, you only need to use your spectrobes, as you are worthless in combat at all times. Though you think, hey, maybe I could just upgrade myself. No, that's not gonna help at all. In fact, I'm surprised I even bothered to upgrade myself at all either. I mean, your gauntlet and your blade are useless. Your blaster is the only thing that could deal anywhere near sufficient damage, like 10, 20 damage. Yeah, that's the highest I've ever bothered with a blaster, and even then, I didn't need to care much. Going back to the real combat here, by pressing L or R buttons, you can actually make them attack, and if you press A, you can actually hold it for a little bit, hit Y, to switch into this alternate mode, where you can actually make them use a different move. And that's pretty much it. There's also a charge combo attack, where if you fill the bar entirely, and then press both L and R, you get this combo move, and god, it's fucking worthless. Not only because of how much it does, which is barely anything, just how long it takes too. As it would have just been faster just running in and just hitting them with the spectrum, not you, because again, you're worthless. Though why even bother with that? You can also just run away from battles, as it's really simple. Just by holding the select button, you can just run away, and I'm surprised it was that easy. Meaning even a fighting was trivial in this game. Just, You want to know a fun fact that made me really understand what's wrong with this game? It was a speedrun record for this game. I know, weird subject change, but yeah. Guess how long this game can be beaten in? Like, in the record. About an hour and a half? Yeah. It shows really how much of this game can be entirely ignored. And that's not with skipping over anything. There's not really much to skip over, to be honest.
I am fair though, and let's get some praise. It looks nice, but the graphics are... I mean, like, how do I put this? It looks alright, but the style of which they choose to, like, base it on is really good. I particularly liked it. I mean, if they chose to do more with that and more ate that style, I would have loved this a lot more. And the musical is okay. I mean, I remember a few. Some were good. I think the battle theme was nice. I think that was pretty much it.
So, okay, after a bunch of nothing happens, you learn that the Krull are coming from the 7th planet. And the old man's like, okay, let's go there. But they can't, as their ship can't get there somehow. And no, this part will always be the bane of my existence. They don't explain how their spaceship cannot reach a planet in space. Somehow. So we now need to get some keystones that will allow us to use some ancient spaceship because, somehow an ancient race was able to cross through space for some reason, but we in the modern times cannot for some baffling reason. And the game kind of forces us, and I don't know why they forced us to. When we go back to the ship, well, the spaceship we're trying to use to get to the 7th planet, we find out that we forgot a keystone because we traded that for a cube, and oh god, I forgot the cube.
Yeah, these mostly suck. Only some of them are actually useful, as they actually give you stuff. And no, I'm not talking about that other stuff because I just don't care, and most of the Nintendo Wi-Fi stuff is down, so there is no point in talking about it. And anything on these are just hints that you probably already know. Like at all. Ugh. I swear, these are useless.
So we get there, we go to the planet, defeat the leader of the crawl, and the day is saved.
And that was... Yeah, sorry, but nothing happened during that time. So I removed that. Again, that's how much nothing happens.
So yeah, that was Spectrobes, and I'm sorry, it just sucked. Whether it was the boring gameplay, the lackluster story, there was nothing really to latch onto to enjoy it. And I just hope that the sequel is actually better. I won't be playing that for a long time coming.